99% of guys are sprinting through life like they're trapped inside a never-ending dating app, swiping, stressing, doom scrolling at 2 a.m., chasing the next buzz of a match notification, flashy moves, drone roses, pricey dinners, and texting back in under 5 seconds. But here's the brutal truth. That behavior reeks of neediness, like SpongeBob wearing a designer hoodie under the sea, pointless and out of place. Fact: women aren't collecting participation trophies for enduring your grandstanding. They crave authenticity, presence, and emotional stability. The kind of calm confidence that doesn't implode when you get ghosted or your Tesla update fails. It's the rare inner quiet that speaks louder than your social media highlight reel. You know the drill. He runs through an airport, nearly knocks over a grandma, slides past TSA like it's an action movie, and blurts out, "I love you," at the gate. Everyone claps. Cue orchestral music, roll credits. But let's hit pause, because in real life, he's being tackled by security and missing his flight to a federal holding cell. Hollywood taught generations of men that desperation equals devotion, that love is about sacrifice to the point of self-eraser, that grand gestures matter more than grounded presence. And that, my friend, is the biggest cinematic scam since Cats was greenlit. Let's be clear, effort is important, but the right kind, the kind that says, "I respect myself enough not to beg for your time." The kind that doesn't abandon dignity for drama. Women want consistency, not chaos. They're not waiting to be swept off their feet by a man who doesn't know how to stand still. Real strength, real presence doesn't sell as fast as a Lamborghini rental and a 99 mindset course. So the world keeps rewarding noise, and the quiet, grounded men get labeled boring until someone actually needs emotional safety. Then suddenly, your stoicism becomes the hottest thing since AI girlfriends. Here's what social media never shows: the guy who doesn't react, who doesn't flex, who's so present in his life that he doesn't have time to curate a false persona. He's not ghosting because he's too alpha. He's just too busy building a life that matters. The Stoic man doesn't chase clout. He builds substance. He's not trying to trend. He's trying to transcend. While others are going viral, he's going inward. And that's what makes him different. Being silent isn't being passive. It's being strategic. And ironically, that silence, the calm restraint in a world foaming at the mouth for attention, is the loudest message you'll ever send. Let's talk about energy. Because women aren't just reading your words, they're reading your vibe. They can tell when you're coming from a place of fullness or from a black hole of neediness that sucks all the air out of the room. Here's the paradox. The more you need her, the more she feels like she has to run. Why? Because your need doesn't feel like love. It feels like pressure, like she has to perform to keep you emotionally afloat. And nobody wants to be someone's emotional flotation device. Neediness is a silent repellent. It doesn't come with warning signs or red flags. It just creeps into your tone, your texts, your body language. It says, "Please like me because I don't know if I like myself." But nonchalance, now that is magnetic. Not the fake kind where you pretend you don't care. I'm talking about the kind of calm that says, "I'm good either way. With or without you, my life moves forward." That's the energy that makes people lean in. Because when you don't try to grip, people feel free to hold on. When you don't try to impress, you become impressive. You're not auditioning, you're already cast, you just haven't walked on stage yet. A Stoic man knows that detachment isn't disinterest. It's confidence. He knows that if something is meant for him, it won't need to be chased. It will come, not because he demanded it, but because he attracted it. In a world that rewards hot takes, viral tantrums, and instant reactions, stillness is rebellion. It's punk rock in a culture addicted to noise. Everyone else is yelling, posting, snapping and spiraling. But you sit, you breathe. You don't need to broadcast your every emotion. You process it internally, like a boss-level monk in a world of emotional toddlers. Stillness isn't laziness. It's strategic restraint. The calm you carry is your power source. It's what people feel before you speak. It's why your silence makes more noise than their monologues. The Stoic man walks into a room and doesn't demand attention. He commands it, without trying. He's the still lake surrounded by emotional whirlpools. Everyone wants a piece of that peace. And here's the kicker. When things go sideways, when she's late, when your Uber cancels, when your job drops a "so we need to talk" bomb, you don't flinch, you don't spiral, you breathe, you assess, you move. That emotional fluency, it makes people feel safe. And in a world where chaos is a given, safety is the new sexy. You're not the guy who overreacts because his text went unread. You're the guy who's already on to his next task, next win, next representative. She senses it, she respects it, and ironically, she becomes more curious about you because you didn't chase her. You chose calm instead. Stillness isn't being checked out, it's being dialed in, focused, intentional, unshakable. And when life throws a punch, you don't duck or panic. You lean in with poise, composure, and quiet fire. Let's get real. Emotional discipline isn't about becoming a cold, heartless robot. It's not about bottling things up until you explode like a shaken Coke can. It's about clarity, control, the art of choosing your response instead of handing it over to impulse like it's a TikTok trend. Most guys think strength is yelling louder or putting her in her place. Wrong century, champ. The modern Stoic doesn't flex with volume. He flexes with silence, with a pause, with patience that says, I don't need to react. I choose when and how I respond. Let's say she hits you with a curveball, a snarky comment, a passive-aggressive dig, or the dreaded, we need to talk. Your old self might have jumped in with ego blazing, trying to win the conversation like it's a WWE promo. But not anymore. Now you take a beat, you breathe, you assess. You ask yourself the Stoic's golden question. Is this response about truth or about ego? If it's ego, you let it pass. If it's truth, you deliver it calmly, precisely, without emotional leakage. Here's the kicker. Emotional discipline doesn't just help you in relationships, it helps you everywhere. At work, when the pressure is insane and everyone else is losing their cool. With friends, when drama pops up and you're the only one not adding fuel to the fire. Even alone, when your own thoughts start spinning at 3 a.m. and instead of spiraling, you center. Think of emotional discipline like a mental gym. Every time you pause instead of lash out, you get stronger. Every time you reflect before reacting, you're doing reps. You're not just avoiding explosions, you're building emotional armor. It's not about being perfect, it's about being prepared. Let's face it, most people are stuck in emotional autopilot. They're not thinking, they're reacting. Someone cuts them off in traffic, boom, middle finger. Someone takes too long to text back, panic. Someone disagrees, rage tweet. It's like everyone's playing emotional whack-a-mole and losing badly. But the Stoic man, he unplugs the game. He swaps reaction for reflection. Instead of being a walking push notification, he becomes the signal, not the noise. Here's the truth. Being reactive makes you predictable, easy to manipulate. People know exactly how to push your buttons because you've handed them the remote. But when you become unshakable, when your emotional baseline is calm, not chaotic, suddenly you're not someone to toy with, you're someone to respect. It starts with self-awareness, that split second before you snap, spiral, or spill your feelings like a spilled Starbucks. You pause, you breathe. You override the knee-jerk impulse and ask yourself, Does this action serve my values or just my ego? This pause is your superpower. It separates boys from men. The average guy reacts to protect his image. The Stoic man responds to protect his peace. Start tracking your triggers like you're analyzing the stock market. What makes you flinch? What makes you fume? What words make your pulse spike? Then reframe them. You're not avoiding emotion, you're mastering it. Practice in small moments. When someone interrupts you, don't immediately clap back. When you're misunderstood, don't rush to defend. When a post triggers you, don't comment. Contemplate. Reactions are reflexes, responses are revelations. Let's clear this up. Mystery isn't about being distant, cold, or emotionally unavailable. It's not ghosting for sport or pretending you're too busy while binge-watching conspiracy theory documentaries. Mystery is about restraint, depth, the art of showing enough to spark interest, but not so much that you kill curiosity. Most guys go full overshare mode by date 2. Childhood traumas, crypto portfolio losses, their ex's favorite pasta dish. Nothing is off limits. And they think that's vulnerability. But no, that's trauma dumping with a side of self-sabotage. The Stoic man doesn't do this. He knows real vulnerability is revealed, not dumped. It's strategic, it's calibrated, it's earned. Mystery is magnetic because it's rare. We live in a time where everyone's broadcasting everything. Breakups, breakdowns, even their breakfast. So when you become the guy who doesn't need to prove or post everything, people notice, they lean in, they wonder, and that wondering, that's powerful. You speak less, but what you say hits harder. You don't rush to fill silences. You let them simmer. You don't post every gym pic or every flex. You let your life speak through consistency, not captions. Here's the litmus test. If she walks away from a conversation with you feeling like there's more to discover, you're winning. If she walks away knowing your entire life story and your Spotify Wrapped, you've given the whole game.